Hello and welcome to Level 3. And in Level 3 we'll be looking at different types of visualizations, and we'll be concentrating on bar charts and area charts towards the end, line charts, but we'll be starting off with a matrix. So, what is a matrix? Well, if you have got any experience with Excel, then you'll know them as pivot tables. So if you have a look at our existing table matrix, you'll see that it has a range of values, in this case region name, sales volume, and 3 different types of average price, and they just go from top to bottom, or in the visualization, from left to right. Now, matrix is different in that it may have the same or similar type of values, but they'll be located in different places. Some will go from on the left hand side, some will go across, and some will go in the middle. So let's create a new visualization, a new matrix, and we'll see what there is. So I've deselected my visualization because I don't want to change my existing viz, I want to create a new one. So here we can see the new visualization. And you can see what we have got in the fields pane is different. It used to be we had values and that was it. Now we've got rows, columns, and values. So suppose I wanted to know per year what is the total number of sales for each region. So there are 3 elements to this: per year, total number of sales, each region. Now the thing which is summarized, the thing which is aggregated, the thing which is totaled, that goes into the values. So out of those 3, which would go into the values? For each year, I want the total number of sales per region. And that would be total number of sales. So I'll go and drag sales volume into values. So there we can see our total sales volume, 3.795 million, exactly what we have up here in our first visualization. Now obviously, a bit too small, let's go and change that, go into the grid, scroll down to near the bottom, and increase the text size. Right, so that's our values. So what is rows and what is columns? So what is left? For each year, I want the total number of sales volume per region. So one's going to be region name, and one's going to be the year of the date. So which goes in rows and which goes in columns? And the answer is, it's really down to you. My advice is to have that which is longer going down. So suppose there was 100 years, then I would have that going down as opposed to going across. So if we got 100 years and only 6 regions, then I would have the regions going across and the years going down. Alternatively, if I had only 6 years and 6 regions, I would probably have the years going across because the names, the size I would need for each region, is longer than the size I would need for each year. 2010 is a lot shorter than Greater Manchester. So let's just try it and see what happens. So I'm going to put region name into columns, and instantly you can see that this 3.795 million has been divided exactly as we got in the first visualization. But then when I drag in date into rows, you can now see that it is split up into both regions and years. So if I just resize this just fractionally, then you'll see that we have got totals for each region and totals for each year. Now you'll also see that we've got this scroll bar because we can't actually fit it all in into one particular visualization. And that might not be a bad thing. It might be fine. It might be what you want. It could be you want something that you do want to scroll on and just have the ability to look at each individual year rather than display it all on one particular screen. Now, if you do find you actually do want it full page, well, then obviously you could use the focus mode and have it a bit bigger, but that's only a temporary solution. Alternatively, you can add a new page. I'm just going to copy this visualization, Ctrl-C, into this new page, Ctrl-V, and then I can have it occupy the entirety of the page, like that. Now let's see what would happen if I get rid of date. I'll click the X next to it, get rid of region name, and I'll drag region name into rows and date into columns. Would that work better? Now for me, that doesn't. I much prefer the other way, where we've got a limited width and a fairly long height. But it's entirely down, A, partly down to personal preference, and B, what are you going to do with the data, and C, what data do you have to begin with? So I'll just reverse that back. So let's get rid of the date, drag region name down to columns, drag date across. Now, as we'll do for all of these new visualizations, let's have a quick look at the format pane, and you'll see that there's really not that much difference between table and matrix. You've now got subtotals, as well as the grand total, so you can switch the subtotals on or off. And same for the column subtotals. And then you've got your grand total right at the bottom. But the vast majority of all of these formattings remains unchanged. So now we spent so much time on the table visualization that you really don't need to spend much more time on the matrix visualization. You already know how to do all of the formatting to add the title, to change the style. So all of those things we've covered in previous videos. We don't need to recover them. So we spent a lot of time on tables, but now all we need to do is spend a very short time on matrices. However, there is one more thing that we need to look at, and we'll look at it in the next video. And that is, what are all of these icons? They weren't there in our table. What are they doing here?